Well, good morning. On my last update titled, Where's Jeannie? I said that I hadn't been working at all on any sewing because I'm busy doing, getting caught up with work outside around the house and yard, fence line, all of that. Well, one thing I did forget to mention is that in a way I've been working on sewing kind of passively all summer every week. Thursday night or Friday I have been buying patterns from Love Notions. They have something called I think it's called Friday Special or something on the Love Notions website. And if you go there every week, you can get the pattern of the week for only $5. So even though I haven't been sewing, I have been collecting patterns for only $5 a pattern. What's nice about this is that you have options. You can either print it out at home. You can take it to a professional printer and have them print it out on big pieces of paper. So there's like 3 different files you have access to. The large format for professional printing, just the regular at-home printing, and the format you can also choose is projection, if you have a projector. Now, I choose not to use a projector right now because I just feel like I'm learning so many things that my brain's just, I don't want to learn one more thing. And also, as I'm looking at my ceiling with my fan spinning around above my sewing table, where would I put the projector? I'm limited on space. So, and also because I have to make adjustments to the patterns, initially cutting out my material from a projector, projecting it down, isn't going to work for me because I don't have all those adjustments figured out on the patterns just yet. So I thought it would be easier to just go ahead and print it out. And then what you do is you line them all up and tape them together, and you make one big pattern piece. Now, I've done a few of them. It is time consuming, but I do it while I'm watching TV, so it's like, okay, it's okay. And also, there's layers of sizes. So you can actually just print out your size, or if you have to grade up or down a size or two. So really, you're a couple of sizes depending on what part of the body we're talking about. So you can print it out where there's just the 2 or 3 sizes that affect you. And then you don't have to worry about all those other sizes in the pattern, which is nice. I chose to print out all of the sizes because my plan is after I get everything all taped together, and then I'm going to have to grade up and down, and I have to lengthen the patterns to make it fit my height. These patterns are designed for women that are 5 foot 5 inches tall, and I'm more like 5'9". So I need to adjust it and grade it out, and because my shoulder area is one size, my stomach area is another. I'm sure some of you can relate. And I printed out all of the sizes though, because my plan is to sew for some friends also, just to make them some gifts. And so that's my idea with that. So I thought it costs a lot of money in ink, and takes a lot of time to print these patterns in the first place. So I thought, well, instead of printing it out in my size and taping it, which takes time, and then printing it out in my friend's size, which takes time and money, I'm just going to print all the sizes out, tape it all together, and then I'll take pattern paper, trace over my sizes that, I've got 2 or 3 sizes that I'm going to have to combine. So trace those sizes out on pattern paper. Then I can cut up my pattern paper and lengthen and do all kinds of weird stuff, whatever I need to do to make the article of clothing fit me. But then I'll still have the original pattern that I can trace out my friend's sizes on. And then I can put her pattern, once we figure out her size, I can put her pattern in her own separate little envelope with her name on it, just custom fit for her size. That would be a lot cheaper and a lot less time consuming than printing it out every single time. So that's my plans. That's what I'm going to do. And the only thing you need to remember when you do print it out is check this. It's on different pages depending on which pattern you print out. But usually within the first few pages of the pattern, they've got this square. And you should measure that. And it should measure 1 inch. If it doesn't, then you need to look at making some sort of adjustment. I can't advise you on that because I'm not very good with technology. I've been lucky that it measures 1 inch. I did get some free patterns from another website, and that square is not 1 inch. And I've got that set aside because I would like to look at figuring out how to make that, make that right. So I'm not going to be able to use those patterns until I figure out how to adjust the printing for it. But fortunately, on these Love Notion patterns, the squares have always measured 1 inch. When it prints out, it starts out on the very last page to print, and it prints forward. And the only reason I'm telling you this is because instead of starting on page 90 and waiting for 70 pages to print out before you finally get to that square to discover that your settings aren't right and that this isn't 1 inch. So, word of advice, when you download the pattern, if you're going to print it at home, scroll through the pages and find which page number the square is on. In this case, it's on page 20, which is the first page of the actual pattern. Scroll through and find that square, and then print out page 20 and check that square. And once you've made sure that that's 1 inch, then you can print the rest of the pattern. Also, they have a pattern guide. There's a print chart, so you don't have to print every single page. You can actually just print based on your size and which which one you want to sew. So You don't have to print sleeves if you're not going to sew sleeves, or you just print out which sleeve you want to use if you're not going to eventually do all of them. So you can follow that print chart to save yourself time and money if you already know that you're not going to sew up all of the options. I printed everything because I plan to get the most out of my patterns and sew up every single view they offer. That's just me. If not for me, then for gifts for my friends. And so page 1 through 19 is the information that tells you what pages to print up, talks about aligning how to align things, and talks about projector format, print at home information that you can read. And if you have any questions, Love Notions has a Facebook group, and I love that Facebook group. People go on and you can ask questions, and everybody in the community is really helpful to help you figure out, what to do and how to understand things. They also have a YouTube channel, which is very helpful because if you start sewing, you can go to their YouTube channel. If you have questions with certain ones, you just scroll through the YouTube channel and find whichever pattern you want help with, and it teaches you how to do their patterns. And they show you the print layout, and so when you're taping all of these pieces together, you get an idea of what numbers go with which pattern piece. That's really helpful. And to figure out your size with this particular company, and I don't know if it's true with all of them, it probably is, but anyway, they tell you, you measure under the arms, your high bust, and then your full bust. And if it's 4 inches or more, you want to use the full bust option if it's available in your pattern. So they do offer full bust option in most of their patterns, which is really nice because not only does it give you more room up here, but the full bust option usually adds a little bit more in the stomach area. So, that's very helpful. It tells you how many inches there should be in ease or negative ease to help you figure it out. In this particular instance, I don't think they have a full bust option for the Olympia dress because you're figuring out the actual size on the pattern piece to more fit your bust size with a better fit for this particular pattern piece. So, and then also when you pick out your size that you wear, you want to pick out the size that fits your high bust area, which is, for me, my high bust area is an extra large. And then if I do the full bust, that takes care of the widening. What I find when I buy clothes at the store is that extra large is too small for me because it doesn't fit, this down here. But extra large is too big for me because it might fit the stomach area, but it's too big up here and hangs down off my shoulders. And the neck is just kind of hanging big. And So one of the reasons that I've decided to sew my own wardrobe is because I'm tired of looking frumpy. I have to wear clothes that are too big here in order to fit my stomach area. And it's just frumpy. It's a frumpy feeling to have stuff hanging off my shoulders. Yeah, I could learn how to tailor and fit that up, but you know, I don't like today's fashions very much in the stores. So if I'm going to have to do all that sewing to get a store-bought item to fit me correctly, I might as well just make it. Pick out my own pattern, you know, pick out my own fabric and just make it. It'd be great. You might say, well, why don't you just lose the weight? So an extra large fits you better. Yeah. I've been trying to lose weight for years. I menopaused at a relatively young age, and I used to look like a model. I was skinny as a model. Then I menopaused, and those hormones, postmenopausal hormonal gaining of weight, has not been kind to me, and so I have tried and tried and tried to lose weight. The good news with that is that what I have accomplished is that I'm not gaining any more weight. Because what happened was, every year after I menopaused, I consistently gained 5 pounds. Well, 5 pounds isn't that much in 1 year, right? But then 5 pounds plus 5 pounds plus 5 pounds plus 5 pounds. Oh, wow. After 4 years, I'm 20 pounds overweight. You know, and it just keeps going. So when I went on started changing my eating habits, the goal was to lose weight. That didn't happen. But I did manage to reverse my type 2 diabetes by changing my diet. So that's a plus. And I also, even though I didn't lose any weight, haven't lost any weight, I actually haven't gained any. So I'm going to call that a win. I'm healthier because I've reversed the type 2 diabetes, and I'm not gaining any more weight because I had been consistently gaining 5 pounds every year. So yeah, I'd love to lose the weight. Maybe it'll happen one day. But for now, I'm just happy, like, and whether I lose weight in the future or not, I still need to wear decent clothes now. I want to look good. I don't want to look frumpy. I don't want to feel frumpy. So that's my motivation for sewing clothes, which has to wait till this winter. And it tells you how much fabric you need depending on what you're sewing and your size and the layout of the fabric. What excites me most about this particular fabric company is that it shows pictures of models of brand ambassadors who have sewn they've sewn the patterns, and they model the patterns, and they're everyday people like you and me, all shapes and sizes. And that's what I appreciate the most about this company. It also has detailed instructions with pictures, so you get to see pictures, and I like that. You can also go on their website. Here's the part that I just love about this company, is all shapes and sizes. And so you've got your skinny little model looking women that just look that way naturally, normal, everyday, petite little woman, which used to be me. But then you also have, you know, you got tall women, short women, wide women, narrow women, big busted, little busted, big hips, little hips, big stomachs, little stomachs. And I mean, just normal people. And so that's what excites me most, is that these patterns are designed by normal looking women to fit normal looking women, and they're designed to complement those of us with less than a perfect figure. I really love that about Love Notions. And one of the things that I enjoy looking at is I look for the models whose body shape looks a lot like mine, and I look at how that pattern looks on them, because it's really kind of hard to figure out, pretty much anything looks good on a size 2 woman, right? And you look at that and you're like, oh, that's cute, but it's not going to look the same on me. So I get to look at how beautiful it looks on someone whose figure is a little closer to what my figure looks like. And it's like, oh, that's beautiful. That looks good. And now I know, and now I have more realistic expectations. This is not going to make me look the same as a size 2 woman, but I get to see it on larger women, and I have realistic expectations of how this pattern is going to look on me. Also, when I go to buy a pattern, if I look at the pattern and I scroll through the pictures of the brand ambassadors, and I think, I don't particularly care how that looks on those women. I'm not going to want to wear that. So that might be a pattern I don't buy that week, because it's like, yeah, some people, apparently a lot of people might like that particular pattern. I don't like the way it hangs on a body like mine. And I know how it looks on a body like mine because there are models. There are brand ambassadors who have bodies similar to mine. So I get to see what it looks like. I'm so excited. Instead of, sewing it up and going, oh, I don't like the way this looks on my body. So that's a really good feature. And I love it. As compared to your big brand patterns that you can buy, they design those clothes to fit a size 0 or size 2 model, whatever, and they design them to fit a real small, skinny, model-looking woman. And then they scale up their clothes to a size 22. And you've got this model modeling the clothes on the front of the pattern, and the clothes have been scaled up to, from a 0 or size 2 to a size 22. And now you're looking at that and you're like, I don't think it's going to look the same on me, honey. I just don't, So, and even a lot of their big brand, the big brand companies, they will make plus size patterns for us plus size folks. The problem with that, and even though I'm only an extra large here, I'm considered plus size around my stomach area. Well, the problem with a lot of those, the big brand companies making these patterns for plus size women, I looked at a lot of those, and a lot of them look like big tents and muumuus, like they don't really, it's like this big cover up, like they're just trying to cover up all of our extra weight. They're not really focused a lot on, making us, the curves that we have, complementing the curves that we do have. It's just like, if you want to buy a lot of their plus size patterns, you're just wearing this big tent, which also makes me feel frumpy. Now, could be you find some plus size patterns from these major brands that do complement a woman's plus size body. I haven't been very fortunate to see too many of them, though. And here you see, look at this model right here. She has a YouTube channel too. I don't remember what it was, but she's wonderful. She teaches very well on her YouTube channel. But look at how she's got a little bit of a belly on her, but how it comes in and then flares out. This dress is designed to accentuate, and where you have a figure still. I don't want to just wear a big tent. So yeah, it's in this woman, she's not real skinny, but you can see how that just, it shapes her. It brings out her shape in a complementary fashion. And that's true with all of these patterns, because I still have, even though from my side view, I've got this stomach, but from the front view, my waist still goes in like this, and then, then the hips go out. So there's some shape there. I don't want to wear a big muumuu that just, this big tent that just covers all that up. I'd like to actually have a waist at least from the front view, So that's my review of the Love Notions sewing pattern. Check them out. Fridays. It's called a Friday special, Friday sale, but really, if you're in the United States, it starts Thursday evening and ends Friday evening. So on Fridays, you got to make sure you get there. Initially, I made the mistake of thinking midnight to midnight on Friday, and I missed the sale one time because it was like, oh no, because it starts Thursday. So you could actually go on Thursday evening or Thursday night and buy your pattern, and don't wait too long Friday, because early Friday evening, the sale is over. So go ahead and get those deals. The regular price, the full price of their patterns, I think are like $12 to $14, and which is still a good deal. And but you can make your own sale by buying more than one. If you buy 2 patterns, then they give you a reduction in the cost. And if you buy 3 patterns, then they give you an even bigger reduction in the cost. So then each pattern costs a little less and a little less with the more you buy. And there have been some weeks that I did buy 3 or 4 patterns all in one week. I would buy the Friday special, and then I would buy a few others for $12, $13, something like that. And so, the full price patterns I did get at a small discount, so you can create your own sales. And so go ahead and gather up those patterns, and every week get the $5 deal. And this winter we'll start sewing. Enjoy the rest of your day.